good to see you again. I'm back with a video after a very long time to kind of follow up the pros and cons that I did on lovebirds. If you're wondering where I was, I actually got a job and I have been working on my art stuff, as you can probably see around you. Closer look at some of my painting. There's more Polaroids and different little sculptures that I've done in the corner over there. But anyways, back to the video at hand. Today we are going to really be talking about what to expect when expecting Bird Edition. And what I mean by that is here are some conversations that you should probably have with yourself and just some things that you should probably know before you adopt a bird and bring it into your home. The first thing we need to really talk about is cages. First time bird owners, what I've seen them do the most is get cages that do not fit the needs of their birds. And what I mean by that is usually what people will do is they will buy a cage that they think the bird needs based off pet store regulations, or they will go with a cage that fits their aesthetic. Examples of aesthetic cages is anything with sharp roofs that look like houses, anything that mimics a castle, or something that's like a small cage that is just meant to kind of fit with the room. And sorry, of course there's gonna be bird noises. Those are all things you need to avoid. This is my wonderful lovebirds cage. As you can see, it's far, far bigger than probably what you would expect for a small parrot. But this is just what this type of animal needs. It needs enough space to be able to fly, be able to play, and have enough space to enjoy themselves and feel like they're in a habitat. My cockatiel's cage follows the same layout. Another thing I'd like to mention is that no bird is meant to stay in their cage 24/7. If you cannot let your bird out for playtimes or for long periods of times where they can be free from their cage, it probably isn't a good idea. The next thing that I would like to bring up is things that go in the cage. I myself have made a ton of mistakes when it comes to this subject because I've found myself buying things that I thought were just cute or would make the bird have more fun, where in actuality, they were more dangerous and served less of a purpose than I thought. For example, some of the things that I have removed from my lovebirds play roster is these keys, because they're completely impractical. He doesn't want to play with them. It just took up space in his cage, and chewing them seems to be not his thing. The other thing that I took out was this. I know this looks silly, but it was supposed to be a bird shopping cart that I could train him to use. He never interacted with it, and if you think about it, if he were to fall or hit one of these sharp edges, that could be dangerous for him. So I removed both of them. Here are the current toys that I have in his cage. As you can tell, he's eager to get out because I'm filming. I have this little cute chew toy in here. All of these things he can chew safely and he does not ingest in my experience, and he gets a real kick out of throwing it into the water, and there's a lot for him to interact with, and generally I see him kind of pivot around this area where he kind of chews stuff. The other thing that I have in here is another chew toy that I'm about to replace because of that little string there. When toys start to deconstruct, that's a good time to replace them because you don't want them to become unsafe as time goes by. So I'm about to buy him a new thing with that. And as you can see at the bottom of his cage, you have his two favorite toys, which I'll get a closer look at. They're actually cat toys, but Toast loves them. I think what he enjoys most is the little noises that they make when he throws them around, but when he's doing outside play, he likes to throw these at me. I've trained him to kind of actually come to my arm and hand using these, and overall, there's nothing unsafe about them. He can't chew anything to the point of excess. Things that are absolutely dangerous for a bird's cage, I would really say, are hidey huts, which I'll put a little picture here. They can ingest the fur and it can kill them. I have had horror stories from fellow bird owners that have bought them for their birds, and they've ended up chewing and ingesting so much of the fur that their stomach could not process food. So you just want to avoid that at all costs. Another thing that I actually have in my older bird's cage that I don't have in Toast's cage is mirrors. Mirrors have been found to cause mental damage for birds over time if they consider the mirror their mate. This can cause attachment issues, it can cause possessiveness in their cage, and overall aggression. The reason that Ralph has them in his cage is frankly because I was not the original owner, my parents were, and when he was given to me, he had already been accustomed to mirrors for 21 years, and frankly, he's never had a temperament, so I've never had to remove them. My other bird, on the other hand, already has possession problems, so putting a mirror in his cage could create even more aggression that isn't needed. Another mistake that I see a lot of first-time bird owners do is they originally feed their birds with just seed. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is food and what you should be feeding your bird on a regular basis. Now, different birds eat different things. When I originally purchased Toast, the breeder said that I should give him a certain type of pellets, but upon arrival, I realized he didn't like them and refused to eat them. Right now, just seed-wise, I'll get into the other foods I feed them after that. Just seed-wise, I know that Toast usually leans towards parrot food or cockatiel food, which you can purchase at the grocery store or at the pet store. Ralph will only take parakeet pellets of a certain variety because he has a sensitive stomach, but I only give them a small amount of seeds per day. That isn't the main thing that they eat. Other things that I usually include in their morning meals is these. They are these little gourmet Evian cakes. They contain a lot of minerals and different antioxidants that they need in a day, kind of like your daily dose of gummy vitamins that you would enjoy in the morning. But that's not all. For Toast in the morning, I usually give him some variety of fruit along with the vegetables. So today he's getting raspberries. Other varieties include blackberries, blueberries, pretty much anything. I'm personally allergic to strawberries, so I can't give them to him. But because of where Toast is originated from, his species usually loves fruit. Ralph, not so much. So Ralph just gets the regular broccoli today and some oats. You want to avoid processed food at all costs. I sometimes cave and give them bread, but you really don't want to do that often because it can result in them having fatty liver disease or having a weight problem. The important thing with food is diversity and timing. Make sure you're not giving food to your birds that is A, going to be wasteful. Therefore, don't give your bird an entire bowl or cup of broccoli that you know they won't eat in a day because they're so small. Also, remember, don't give them food at night when by the time that they get to it and eat it, it's already stale. You don't want them eating stale food because it can give them diseases and sicknesses. So those are just some basic things to avoid when you're feeding them. Final thing that I would like to bring up as for conversations you should have with yourself is, are you ready to take on a bird? And what I mean by this is, have you done your research? Have you studied what breeds you want? Have you analyzed everything you will need and purchased it beforehand? These are all things that you need to consider. Adding another family member to your household. And remember, your bird's needs should always come first overall. Never ever just get a bird because you want a new thing to play with. And that's on what? Love. Bye guys. Bye, Toast. If you liked the video, make sure you subscribe and like it too. Without further ado,